you doing? This is Ollie Bilson, and welcome to this episode of Path to Purchase. And I'm, of course, with my friend, Mr. Tom Breeze. How are you doing?
Very good, Ollie. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well indeed. A little bit more of a casual background for me today. It's kind of the studio, but in bits and pieces. So
for podcast listeners, it just looks like a tip behind Ollie right now.
Right. And you've just moved into your new office, which is
yes, exactly. Yeah, we've moved into the new office. I'm here at the moment. If you can see me, this is the new office, and if you can't see me, I'm in my new office. So yeah, nothing too spectacular about that, apart from the fact that on the very first day I couldn't work out how to actually get through the front door. But since worked it out, you'll be pleased to know.
That's good news, and also good to hear that you can get into work. And you're in a fortuitous position, of course, and that you're going to be having an actual studio in the office, or next to the office, so to speak.
So we've just moved in temporary here, and it was funny because I literally moved in, and then day 2 of being here, I handed in my notice to say, I'm leaving because I want to move to a different office. So that must have been the quickest turnaround I've ever experienced here. 2 days of being a good tenant, and then it's like, right, I'm out now. It's only because we're moving to a different office where we're going to have slightly more space, and we're building a studio like right next door to the office. So it means that I can literally walk from the office, from the main office, through one door and right into a green screen studio. And it's not going to be green screen studio with like all soundproofing everything. I don't need to do kind of the nth degree. When I do, I'll go down to the studio. But but it means it's just like for sense of ease, I can just walk from one room to another, film a load of footage. We've got the team here to be able to edit everything out. It's going to slick up the whole process. And the idea is to create some more content this year. So with the book coming out and other bits and bobs that are happening, I just want to like make sure that we're up to date with all the videos, making sure that our YouTube presence is really strong and stuff, and it could do with a bit of an update as well. So yeah, you got
to practice what you preach, right? So
precisely. I feel like a bit like the dentist of the bad teeth, or the like that same analogy when it comes to other things. It's very much like I feel like we're not we do a really good job with our clients, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to our own stuff, we don't do a huge amount of promotion and stuff, and it's just because it's not our priority most of the time. But I'm making it a priority for this year. So we've got a lot of traveling to do through San Diego and Sydney, but then back at the start of April, and that's when we move into the new office with the studio, and hopefully it's all going to get sorted whilst I'm away. So when I get back, it's all just done, move in and just get going.
I hope so. Yeah.
It never works out exactly as you want it to, but
no.
Be able to get it all sorted. So hopefully I'll walk in and just be able to like shoot video from day one. So that should be cool.
It's interesting actually, the fact that you got you've gone with this. You've kind of come into a new office, and although you're staying in the same vicinity, you're getting another studio. We did pretty much the same thing when we got into our new offices, and actually we're moving again as well. Yeah. So that's quite funny. We've outgrown where we are. We have been here for a while though. But when we first moved in, so the first thing I did, we put a studio up, and I hate putting a lapel mic on. I just hate putting a lapel mic on. And so I always wanted a room with a shotgun mic, made it dead easy for me to get in front of the camera, and just put a background up and record some good quality videos. And actually for some of our clients, I'd suggested it for one of our clients does dermatology. They have a clinic in London, and they kind of got a small room. I said, this is absolutely perfect for doing testimonial videos, just kind of on site, ready to go, and really kind of give you an edge, really.
I might have to do that. See, because you can get them like tied into the ceiling, can't you? So it's just like hangs down out of camera shot, but then just looks apart. Yeah, I think there's a certain amount of like knowing that when you've got the lapel mic on, the audio is going to be good quality, and you don't have to really worry about it too much. But I think the positioning of the lapel mic the positioning of the shotgun mic's the tough bit. But if you're staying still, right, it shouldn't be too difficult. So yeah, I love that.
ME66, Sennheiser ME66, great microphone. Just saying.
That's the shotgun, right?
Shotgun, absolutely amazing.
ME66. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Go and get the affiliate link, and I'll buy it.
Yeah, exactly. I just remember it's like a Messerschmitt 109. Just the ME66. I don't know why those two correlate in my mind together. Absolutely two completely different things. But works.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, all good. In fact, we should probably put in the description of one of these podcasts a kind of what we use. You know, I know that we pretty much got the same camera, and you know, ring light, you know, what are the key lighting, and you know, what's the background, where do you get this stuff from? We'll probably put some links in there. There won't be affiliate links, by the way. We're not that hard up. We don't need to earn
well, if they were, it'd be my affiliate links.
Oh, good. Oh, that's good to know. It's good to know.
Just so you're making me rich, yeah.
Okay, fine. That's fine.
Speaking of that, because I know we had a different idea for this podcast already, I think, and we did this in the last podcast episode as well. What would you say is like the equipment that you use on a daily basis that you think, I couldn't live without this? Is there a few things that you think these are essential for you to run your business?
Yeah, I think so. The first thing has got to be the Pulse, DA Pulse.
Yeah, see, we looked at the Pulse and we didn't go for it in the end, but I love, that was my number one, but because I think we're an AdWords agency, or really a video, we went with Swido, because it can do a lot more reporting, and it's built for an AdWords agency, so it fit for us. But I saw the Pulse and I did like it a lot. Yeah. So,
well, we're kind of, and like you as well, we're both buy into the Scrum, Agile world of doing things, methodology, and we run our agency and all of our projects within, you know, that kind of thinking, and so Depulse fit that really well. Trello was an option, and we've used it before and done lots of cool things with it, but really Depulse was good. In fact, funny story, not that I'm proud of this in any way, but just because
you definitely are. You definitely are. I can tell in the tone of voice.
So shady. It's so shady. But I say it just because maybe some people will resonate with that. They've done this in the past and made a mistake. So Depulse is project management software. Works great with Scrum and very flexible with whatever kind, frankly, you want to use it for. But they're quite expensive, and because we've kind of got quite a few staff members, I think we had like 25 users on the thing, and that can get quite expensive. And so we bought a year-long package, and I think it was like $3,000 sterling. So, you know, quite, but really it's pales into insignificance when you consider the value of running the project. Anyway,
the value of the pound.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's a different story. In any case, I'd sort of, you know, have my financial reviews. We do monthly management accounts and stuff. And I actually do a weekly financial overview for just management information, and not management reporting, but kind of like, you know, we're quite good with the numbers. And I noticed that this figure hadn't come out. Anyway, what had happened, just to backtrack, before that, we kind of, you know, knew we were going to do this. And I get an Amex statement. I put all of our business, you know, stuff through our Amex card. We were just talking about this before we got on the call. And anything that I like, you know, every now and again, when you've got so many different subscriptions, and we've got loads, probably like you, it's scary that everything seems to be like that these days. And I remember seeing this charge on the credit card. And I was like, what the hell is this? I've got no idea what it is. Charge it back. That's it. I've never bought anything from Blue Snap. What is this Blue Snap? We couldn't find out. Now, the logical thing is, whoever's doing the counts, of course, they go and find out who the hell Blue Snap is. And there was just literally no information. So we thought it was just so bizarre. We actually, I think bookkeeper rang Amex up and said, oh, we got this charge, we're not sure what it is, can you investigate? They didn't know, obviously, whatever. They said, we just suggest that, you know, we look into it as a fraudulent transaction. Had to have new cards and everything else. It was horrible.
Oh, no.
I was going away at the time as well, and it was just a nightmare to, you know, not have my cards just because of this thing. And, you know, you do notice, you know, that kind of money going out on the card. And then we just got a call from Depulse just saying, oh, we're really sorry. You've been using our software for 3 months now, and, well, you charged it back. We can see that you... I was like, oh, that's what it was.
I found the payment.
Yeah, I was like, oh, damn. They were like, oh, it's happened before. And so this was a learning point for me. If you sell online courses, if your Stripe account, actually the name of what you sell isn't the company name is different from the trading name or something like that on the statement, make sure it's the same. Or when you sell something, make sure that this will appear, this subscription or whatever will appear on your statement. Otherwise, people will do that because they don't know anything else. So anyway, I got 3 months free. That was the win for that.
That's the win. 3 months free.
And
because
we love
their
DePulse.
brand name and their bank name is different.
We love DePulse. So DePulse, Slack would be another big thing. And I personally use Workflowy as a great tool for outlining.
Oh, yeah, we used that in the past.
Yeah, for outlining.
So DePulse brought in timelines as well, didn't they, recently?
Yeah, really.
Are they good? Are they good?
Yeah, really good. Kind of gives you a good idea of the capacity in which your different team members are working. So we break our business down into all the different departments: Infusionsoft, web development, web design, graphic design, content writing, sales copy, all of the video production, video editing, all of this stuff. And we can basically see per team member, how much they've got on their plate at any given time, which is great with that new feature through DePulse.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and probably like you now, I'm always searching for, and probably like other people on the call, you're always looking for that kind of silver bullet or that thing that's just going to make something that just that little bit easier to manage your team with, or even yourself with. For years, and I still use this personally, I still use OmniFocus for Mac.
Yeah, you talked about this before, actually. Yeah, you like it, don't you?
Yeah, I love it. And use kind of Getting Things Done by David Allen. If you've ever read that book, it's great. Works very well with that. But really, when you start to grow a team, especially an agency like both of ours, really, one of the key things is making sure that you're on point as far as deliverables are concerned. So DePulse is the win. And we even let our clients have access to their own boards on DePulse, so they can see everything that's happening.
It's interesting because I think that the one thing I found by trying to implement loads of different project management tools is the psychology that goes behind it as well, right? So like for me, as a business owner, I'm like, I don't want to be involved with any of the task notifications because I get enough email already that I don't necessarily need to handle straight away that kind of gets handled by the team. There's obviously the important ones I need to handle. But when you're doing the project management, I know that I don't want to be bothered by the day-to-day activity that the team should and could be doing, but I want to be sure that I can check on it when I need to. But I was in a meeting with the whole team, and it was really interesting with one person. What they said is like, well, I want to make sure that I've got something where I can do it, click the tick box, and then it's over to the next person, so that in a month's time, or in a week's time, I think it might have been, they said, if they were to say, oh, you never sent me that, I can say, well, I did because I'm here. Here's the day I did it, and it's notified. I was like, that's all good and well saying like it's off your plate now and it's onto somebody else's plate sort of thing. And hey, that's nothing to do with me anymore because I've done like in Scrum, I've done my sprint or I've done my bit. But I was like, that's not the way to think about this, because it's like, that still means that as an agency, we haven't done the job, or it means the client hasn't got and it falls down because someone's like, well, it's not my fault because I did click that button that said it's your task now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
the handover.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was really interesting for me to listen to that. And as a result, we made it very clear that's not the way to run it.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting from a business, like top-down perspective when I was looking at it and thinking how we're going to get everyone aligned and work on the same page versus how they sometimes think about using the software as well. And so we've like, it was a thought from somebody that now has changed their viewpoint. But it was interesting just to see how I'm sure that is at a base level at some point in everyone's mind to be like, I do my job, it's over to the next person, it's off my plate.
Yeah, it's like abdicate.
The best attitude.
Yeah, I actually have. It's really funny you say that because I think there's a real distinction. Well, there is a distinction by what it is, but between abdication and delegation. And when you abdicate something, you're simply, really not really bothering what happens beyond when you hand it off to somebody, versus delegating somebody is actually giving them everything that they need in order to move that forward in a meaningful manner. You know, there's a big difference. There's a big disparity in that. I mean, one thing that I'd advise anybody on the call, or just general communications, even if you're just a one-man business or whatever, there's 2 lists that I keep all the time, absolutely religiously. And one is an agenda list. So an agenda list is everybody that I deal with regularly, or my team members, even my partner, Lindsay, whatever. And I write down for every single person an agenda item. So, or things that I need to talk to them about specifically. So that means that when I see that team member, or when I see that person, I've got a list of things that I'm going to speak to them about. And then generally the second list that works well with that is a waiting for list. So the same team members or whatever are duplicated onto the waiting for list, and those things that I ask them about then get moved to the waiting for list. So then next time I can batch process all of these things together. So it can be, here's some things I need to talk to you about. Great. So now there's some things that I'm waiting for. Oh, and by the way, here's the thing that I'm still waiting for. Because when you're really busy, it's like, you know, you forget, and then you can end up in a bit of a situation where you have abdicated it and not done something, delegate, because they might not have all the resources and they're busy. Yep. So, and they might not be quite as well organized. And I think you need to be a bit organized to make it work, whoever you are. So those are my two lists I keep all the time on the go, really.
So, okay, so just on this, because I want to talk about other tools and things that you use to run your business and stuff as well. How much autonomy do you give per person? So do you let them have their own spin on the actual software they're using? Do you say like, okay, look, you're in charge of this process. However you want to build that process, you go for it, as long as we get the outcome. Because if you're not doing it day to day, they'll know it's better to do it their own way. Do you know what I mean? If you said, right, you need to do A to Z because that's what you want to see, but really they need to do like 12 of those processes instead of 26 of them or something.
Right.
They can jump a few steps 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
How much autonomy do you give to them to say, well, it's kind of their process, their thing, they're in it every day, right. Versus how much top down is it sort of thing? Do you say, well, this is how I've always done it, you do it my way sort of thing?
Sure. I guess I kind of got a bit of a head start on maybe my thought process around that, because coming from kind of franchising and licensing and all that operations manual and all the standard operating practices, is you've got to have a system for the system. So when you've got to have a process for what the process is. So you ultimately want people to begin to create their own or improve processes. So if a process or procedure doesn't exist, you want them to create one. But you need to define what the confines are of the process to create that system. And so Google Docs is a great tool for this, because you can make sure that they're always up to date. There's commenting, there's access rights and privileges to different team members. And the first document to produce in all of this is, how do you create a procedure? What's the expectation? So regardless of if they're going to do something that's new, or, you know, I'm talking this from a team member, a marketing agency point of view, but it really could be any business that's trying to create systems. If you've got staff, you need to define how they should create that system. And that way, and also there's a process for updating an existing system as well. So that doing all of these things in a Google Doc helps. Having a library, like a table of contents of procedures and processes that link out to all of the different documents, works really well. There's numerous kind of thought processes around that. But the other thing is as well, if you're a business owner, the best thing that you can do to start creating these systems is actually not do the systemization yourself. So what I tend to do is, I'll give you an example. One of the tools we use for all of our tracking is called Wicked Reports. Powerful tool. When you buy a Wicked Reports account, for us, in our case, it's for a client, there is a process to authenticate all of the Facebook ads that, to validate them, that they are synced with Wicked Reports, and so it can begin tracking. Well, that actually might seem like a technical analytics guy kind of job. It's not. It's just an admin task. And so what I did, I just recorded a screen flow of me doing that task. That would be another one of my tools, by the way, ScreenFlow. Or Snagit is another one of my favorite ones.
Oh, you should get Screencastify on Chrome.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay,
really good.
Nice. And that's free as well, right? You can just install the extension and...
There's a free version, but the reason I like it is because it syncs in with Google Chrome, Google Drive. So as soon as you've done a video, it uploads it, and immediately you can share it with people, embed it, whatever you want to do with it, and it's kind of like using the power of and the player of YouTube. So it's really easy. Yeah. Anyway, you were discussing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I just record me doing that process, and I think the problem is when business owners know they should be doing this stuff all the time. But they just think, oh, it's easy if I do it. Like, it's easy if I just do this rather than give it to somebody else. I can just do this quite faster. Or they get frustrated with somebody. So I know that I do that as well. So the easiest way to break through that is to say, okay, no, look, I'm just going to record this. Be it just me sometimes talking, me sometimes not talking. And then I hand that over to my assistant. And if you haven't got an assistant, you probably are one, so that's probably something you want to fix. Give it to an assistant and just say, go to the process document and create a procedure from this. And what she'll do is she'll go and take the video and she'll pause the video at certain parts, and she'll take screenshots of the actual video and annotate the video screenshots. Now, there's a reason why to do that, because a lot of people now believe that, video would be great and you're talking over video. Honestly, if you're trying to follow a process or a procedure, it needs to be screenshots. You can't just keep flicking through things, and sometimes there's lots of issues that can be cause you problems there. So I don't believe in videos. Unless you're using video to support the procedure, the annotations that the screenshots you're doing, really.
Well, let me introduce a new tool for you as well. Then, have you heard of Screen Steps?
No, I like this. I like the sound of it already. I like the sound of it already.
So what you do is you go through it and you press like screen grab, and then you can annotate it immediately, and it saves it into a document. But then what's great about it is you can embed that document automatically into any web page you like. And also, so if you make a change later on and you republish, it will get republished onto your website without you having to make any changes.
Wow.
So you can work inside the system, and it's very, very powerful. It's not cheap. I don't know how much it is, but it's something where you kind of think, well, if you're not going to use it every day, you feel like, well, that's costing me monthly money. But once you've built it and you can download the PDFs and things, then you're good to go, sort of thing. But we love it because it's useful when you're documenting something that changes quite regularly, like YouTube ads do. They always move stuff,
for sure,
things and stuff. And so it's like, great, we can just go in, edit the one page that we need to, or go through that process again, because you just follow along with the previous process and just update it.
That's perfect, yeah.
And but I agree with you. I think the videos are great for like the first time someone sees it happen. It's like, when you read a good book, you read the first time through and you're like, got it, love the book, sort of thing. But then when you actually want to implement it, you don't want to read the whole book again or watch a video or something. You kind of like just want to have the steps in front of you, the checklist in place, as opposed to having to watch and press play and stop and then follow along. It's much easier. Like, I've seen it all before. Let's just go through the step by step. So I agree with you. Yeah. But Screen Steps is a really useful tool for that.
And then in terms of a resource for anybody listening, just wondering, like, that sounds quite interesting. I know I've read the E-Myth, or I know people have told me to systemize things. People have told me to document things. People have told me to create procedures and processes. Where's the best place to start with that? A good book to look at to begin with is a book by Sam Carpenter called Work the System, I believe. And really kind of lays out for you a number of things that give you some guidance framework to consider when doing this in order for you to scale. And I think the truth is that I probably wouldn't have been able to scale some of my businesses beyond a certain point without taking consideration of these things. I just don't believe that you can grow and scale things effectively without it. So, having that Google Drive and Google Doc library is really important. And having a system for the system, so everything's kind of kept together, is super important, really.
Very cool.
So yeah, and I think obviously Infusionsoft is my other.
That's your go-to, right? Yeah, you like it.
Thing, right?
So I've got it and I use it, but I don't know if
it's like a Ferrari in the garage without a driving license. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, or with I once upon a time wanted to drive the Ferrari, and now I can't be bothered. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Infusionsoft. I think it's the most powerful, and so I get that, and there's no argument for that. I don't think there's other tools out there. I know this is like one of those things where you start talking about a CRM software and there's always people that are like massive advocates of different things. I've tried a lot, and do you know what? Simplicity wins the day for me all the time. I don't know how to send an email from Infusionsoft, or I do, but I don't feel confident about sending an email from Infusionsoft. I think when you're at that stage, and I'm the one who would want to send the emails, I think it's the wrong system for me. Do you know what I mean? I think it's clever in terms of all the different things it can do, the automatic follow-up and everything. I'm sure it can done on other CRMs as well, but there just seems to be I wish there's a button to say, I want to email everybody, all the people that I should email now. And then you can do it through tags and stuff. But God almighty, like the amount of difficulty it comes to like making sure all your tags are, and then you've got to remember which tags they are. And all, it's just sometimes a bit too difficult for me to get my head around completely. And I think when it gets to that stage, I lose the will to actually send the emails. And I think I've sent like 3 emails in the last year and a half. I don't send emails out, but it's from a broadcast perspective.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably because I have a personal one-to-one relationship with pretty much all my clients, and I don't do that much work on the scale of like mass audiences and things. That's going to change, I'm sure. But it's just, I don't know. It's just an interesting one. I don't feel like I've got used to Infusionsoft, and I don't think I ever will. But I know myself. I'm self-aware of the fact that that's not the best platform for me.
Yeah, and in actual fact, you probably are you're open to the fact that that's the case, or you've come to the realization that's the case, and that's good as well, because you know what you know, and you know that you don't necessarily need to worry about that, or even if you're even remotely interested in developing any part of you to improve the way you work with it, or to understand it more, and that's really where people come in to help other people do it. But the problem is often they don't make that decision early enough. And to be honest, even we work with, and just like you do, we work with some really, really high-end and our clients that are actually synonymous with getting results with Infusionsoft. Mm-hmm. Yet it's actually us, as in our agency, that do all of their Infusionsoft for them.
Which is why we're going with you.
Right, exactly. And then, it just makes sense that, you've got to understand where you realize the most value, and that's probably not in plumbing Infusionsoft campaigns. And although there was a time when I used to do that as well, and that's where some of my unique ability came from, even nowadays, I just know we had a small campaign last week, a little cash surge campaign, 4-day cash machine. I'm just not, even though I know how to do it, it's just not of interest to me to do that right now, and nor it's going to give me, it's not really.
So here's a question. Who do you think should be doing Infusionsoft? Who do you think, do you think an entrepreneur as a business owner at any point be getting involved with Infusionsoft, or do you think they should get...
not. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Absolutely not. I think it's important to have an appreciation for the power of what it can do, and I don't think you should ever stop developing your knowledge around the possibilities. But I think that that there might be a reason why, as an entrepreneur or business owner, you may want to harness the power of Infusionsoft and drive it yourself. It could come down to costs. It could come down to a lot of different things. It might just come down to the fact that you just need to learn enough to know that whoever's doing it for you is doing it the way that it should be done. But I think if you partner with people that have a proven track record in what they're doing with Infusionsoft, you can't go, I say you can't go too wrong. You still need to be selective and do your due diligence. But I think that whoever's building stuff for you needs to document stuff. And so, for all our clients, we have a knowledge base we create for them. I can only talk of what we do. I don't know what anyone else does, but from what I've heard, people like this. And I always say to people, even if you don't know Infusionsoft, you need to know the customer journey. And you need to know the lead to customer journey. And unless you know that, and it's got to be documented, it's got to be so that things are built in a certain way that anybody else can go in beyond us, beyond our existence as an agency, and know exactly what may be a problem or may need improving or customizing. That's so super important. So I do think it's a good conversation to have, but for me, in answer to your question, I don't think that it's entrepreneurs weren't made. Well, entrepreneurs, it's a perfect fit for all of the ideas and creativity under the sun. That's for sure. But ultimately, no.
It's a similar thing I would say with YouTube ads and any advertising. In fact, the business owner should not be getting involved with that process. There's too many other. It's a really important process for sure, but it's too specialized. It's too individualized, and it's like to learn it properly and spend time on other things is the important things about building a business is a silly thing to do, I think.
It's a bit like I was having a conversation with a client about like he had his VA updating Facebook ads, and what she was actually trying to do, or what she was trying to achieve, was predicated on a technical understanding for how to use Power Editor, not coming from a place of being a marketer or being experienced in advertising. And so, learning the system is one thing, but then actually being able to do something with it that's going to get results is a completely different other thing. Just because you know how to use Power Editor or can watch some videos on the operation of it doesn't necessarily mean you can fully harness or leverage its power entirely anyway, because a lot of the things that you could do with it are based on the knowledge of marketing and advertising and what you're doing with it. It's pretty important to understand that.
So let's go through some other things. I mean, I know that we'll probably be tight for time on this because we tend to go off on tangents, but I think that's what our listeners love, right?
No, definitely.
I keep telling myself that anyway. Listeners, let us know. I don't know how you can let us know because I don't know anything about podcasting apart from going on and doing this. Classic case of not knowing how to do some stuff.
I think though, people, I mean, for me, I'm always interested to know what people use, what makes them effective, productive, and we're always interested in that stuff, and so I think this is the reason why this is good, really.
Do you know what? Yesterday, just give people a bit of a peek into what we're up to. Yesterday, I found us doing one of the most complicated things we've ever done in the agency, I think, which is like a different type of campaign build. We'll talk about it in future episodes, but it's a really complicated approach. And we've nailed it. It took me to kind of like have my idea and put it down on a whiteboard. I did it on a big whiteboard to begin with. Then I talked it through with some of my team members, and they watched me go through it, which meant I could tweak it and improve it and say, we can't do that. We've got to do it this way. Then we got our AdWords team with us to come in and look at everything. And there were certain things that they corrected and changed and things. And then we did the build out, everyone in the office together. And we still, as we were building it up and building it out, we still found little tweaks and little changes. Now we kept on changing the whiteboard, and we got this big whiteboard with loads of edits on it or tweaks and slight little bits to do and things. But now I can look at it over here on the left-hand side. It's lots of red marks all over the place and stuff. But now I know that I've got that. We've all proved it works that way. And based on the results we get from the campaign, we're hoping everything's going to work incredibly well. It's a new type of campaign that we're building. I know that I'm going to take a photo of that and also just like document it down as a step by step, because it's such a complicated build when you do it first time round. You just need to be able to like trust in the system afterwards to be like, right, this is what I do, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it's difficult to know like when you build it, it's like knowing all the why and the reasons behind it. But now it's become a system. But just for people listening in, it was the case of like developing an idea and running it past and increasing the number of people inputting on it. And then doing the build and just doing it all together is a classic case of just humans in a room and a whiteboard and just kind of going through it and then doing the build and just keep on changing and editing things.
So, so you're saying your tool is a whitebout? Is that what you're saying?
And just verbal communication.
And communication.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah. And it's interesting because like I hardly ever send emails out to a list. I do a lot of like different types of communication. So I very rarely do a big long email that's not, if it is, it's templated. But I'll just do a video like this to clients. I used to use something called BombBomb. So it's BOMB.com, because you can do videos from your phone and then just send them on to people very quickly. I use a audio recorder for voice messages for clients, which is called Extra Voice Recorder. But it's brilliant. You can just drag and drop recordings of your voice into an email and say, listen to this. And it's just really useful because I can just verbalize what I want to say instead of typing it all out. My written English, I find it more difficult to express what I mean in text than I do when I'm just speaking. But then with Screencastify, you can record yourself as well and just send client videos and stuff. Clients absolutely love it. I find it 10 times easier. And it's just a case of like just banging out videos, and communication like that is so much simpler. Like if I genuinely want to get a feeling across to a client, I can't do that via text very easily. Well, I can do it in a video really easily. So it's, a lot of like my tools are kind of that I use are not necessarily built for mass communication to emails and CRMs and stuff. And it's a lot of it's like in-house on the whiteboard, work it out, and then turn it into an SOP. And I'm a big fan of Scrum. So when I read the book, I only took a few things out of that, but I really like the idea of doing a project and having everything like project-based, like in a factory sort of thing. And when we work on campaigns or when we work on anything with a client, it's very much like, here's a task that needs to be done from start to finish. Everything needs to be put into that task, and it takes 3 hours to do. So then you just book it into the diary and like, great, I know I've got plenty of time to do it in 3 hours. There's no rush. There's no like pain points around that sort of thing. But I know that like, right, I can allocate the team to learn those particular projects so they can do it. And it's like, right, here's a standard operating procedure that you do. There's a lot of flexibility within it, but it's like from start to finish, this is what needs to happen. And it's great because you can just allocate and delegate to a certain extent. Right, this client needs this, go and do that. This client needs this, go and do that. This client needs this, go and do that. And it means that we just move along the system very, very quickly indeed. And Slido's great for it from a standpoint of like building out those tasks and those SOPs. We used to really like Trello for that reason, because you can move people along the board quite nicely. We like reading the books Scrum and turning everything into sprints of like how long something takes, and then having like the step-by-step to go through that one section of like maybe a 20-step project, for example, means that just everything just gets done properly. And it is about making sure it's like a one standard operating procedure for pretty much every step. Even if, however you think things can get really creative, and there is still a SOP behind it. I've just set up an interview actually with a creative director of a video agency, and that we're very much we love creative, but we're very much about the return on investment first with campaigns. So we know what works really well when it comes to creating videos. But she's done a lot of videos with like Vodafone and all the big brands, and thinks creatively about what the message might be. And so I'm getting down to do an interview very soon. We'll make sure we stick it up onto the blog and stuff. But I'm going to try and get her to kind of talk to me in such a way where I can process it into some sort of SOP. So in her head, it's probably just like this like creative cloud. Whereas me, it's like, all right, I'm going to take that information and turn it into a system. Yeah. But it's books like Scrum and the E-Myth and things that have really helped me do that. And it's enabled us to really scale very quickly. Not in terms of getting good results for clients and that sort of stuff, but also making sure the team can grow quickly as well, because you know where to plug the gaps. It's not just like, I'm going to hire someone to hopefully help. It's I can hire someone to say, you're going to be doing this bit and this bit and this bit, for example. And it just becomes much easier.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with that. And I also think that the communication points between all of that stuff is super important. And I know I mentioned it before, but tools like Slack We don't do any email internally now. Everything's through Slack. Everybody probably on the call is going, oh yeah, you know, I've converted to Slack for sure. We also use a tool that's a little bit more little known. We have some of our team, we run a more of a distributed team. So some of them are working from home. Not many, but I have quite a lot of flexibility in our agency. Most people work from the office, but there's some that work from home whenever they want to. And when they do, we use a tool called Sococo.
Interesting. How do you spell that?
Sococo, good point. Sococo. So that's Sococo.
As in like Sococo.
Sococo. And Sococo is like a virtual office, and it's free. You can get, I can't remember how many people you can get in, but like 15 people or whatever, and everybody logs in. And you know when people are at lunch, or they can jump into your room. You can do a video conference immediately. You can talk to them. You can, you know, when you do your daily stand-up meeting, everybody can jump in wherever they are into the main room. They are. You can see everybody with these little dots, so you know where everybody is, and then you can see who's meeting who. So if they're busy, all the stuff like that, and it's for free, and we use that all of the time within the business to communicate, which is key. Different from like Zoom. If you do external meetings, I still think Zoom is probably your best bet away from things like Skype and stuff. But Zoom is good. But Sococo is very good, and it can actually you can also get a link directly to your office and send that externally, and people come straight into it. It works from Chrome, so everybody can get into it easily. Turn that tab into a video conference really quickly. It's a really nice tool that just wanted to add in there as one of my final things.
I'm just having a look at it now. It looks good. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that out after this podcast. Nice.
Good. Love it. Oh, and one more. Well, by the way, this could go on like ever. This could go on forever.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of looking around the office to think, right, okay, we'll use Macs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, now we're snaking the barrel.
Yeah.
So one thing that
we use these things called computers. They're amazing.
Yeah, you said it is pivotal to running your business. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So this is maybe everybody on the call must be able to relate with this. Is one thing that really annoys me more than anything else is where you've got so many different devices these days to capture ideas down on, and because we're so digital or even paperless, some people, they often want to use Evernote, or they want to use, like I mentioned, Workflowy, but there's nothing better. You mentioned a whiteboard. There's nothing better than a good old Moleskine notebook, especially if you're in a meeting. You know, everybody hates you tapping away in a meeting if you know, there and you're trying to take notes. And so I love using a Moleskine. And I've always struggled with the fact that, like, that's okay, but my ideas can't really get downloaded anywhere. And that's an issue. However, there's a solution. And the solution...
I love it how you build up to it. It's so good. It's great.
Yeah. I could have gone really deep, like real problem, agitate problem. But,
yeah.
I didn't do that.
Stick the knife in, wiggle it around. Yeah.
No. So what you need in your life... this is the prescription. Like, you need is a Livescribe pen with... the Moleskine that comes with it. They do a Livescribe.
Yes, this is the one where you can talk to it, right? You can do like the MP3, and then it, based on the page, you push back on the area, and it will tell you the MP3 that you recorded at that time.
Yeah. And what it will do, it will digitize all your handwriting from your Moleskine straight up into the cloud, put into a PDF. You'll click on the PDF, it will play back the audio that was in that meeting at that exact point. It's absolutely perfect. So finally, you can get digitized notes. It'll even do character recognition on your note, and it will put it into normal type as well. That doesn't work well for me because my writing is terrible. But what I use this for is often I'm drawing funnels out, or I'm coming up with different ideas or different ways of testing things. And so I can just draw a quick process map of what I think that might be, even talk while I'm doing it. Then it'll upload to the cloud and I can send that to a team member. And I've still got the physical version of the notebook as well to refer back to myself, as well as it being up in the cloud. Massive hack, really, for anybody who's listening to this wondering what that's about. If you've tried like an Apple Pencil and got frustrated with that with an iPad or whatever, this is a good solution for you.
So let me ask you a question on this, because I've seen someone use it before and give me a demo and I thought it was amazing. And it's difficult to explain it until you actually see it in action. So go and check out the videos on their website, because I think I've just seen a couple of videos that I'm going to go and watch in a minute. But so say, for example, I was, let's say, traveling on the train and I was making some notes on my Moleskine paper. It's actually paper, right? It's not
just normal paper.
Just normal paper, but it's done in a grid way that the pen recognizes or something.
Yeah.
So I draw it out. Are you saying then, when I say upload to the cloud or something like that, or whatever, it'll actually have that drawing in the cloud?
Correct. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I used to have this. I used to have this thing similarly to that, which was a whiteboard that was it was actually a piece of glass. So it wasn't a whiteboard, it was a glass board. But you could move it around. And when you wrote on it, you could give somebody a URL. And when you write on it, it would put what you're doing right onto that URL as like an online whiteboard. So when you're sharing with a client, you could actually draw out on a normal glassboard whiteboard situation, and they would see it directly in a web browser live.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's a cool thing. Do
you know what it's called?
It is called, I will find out, it's something Snap.
So it's like a whiteboard on like an offline whiteboard.
Yeah, that's it. So and I can't remember the exact name of it. That's what it should be called. Offline online whiteboard. Yeah, it's like a smart board, I think, is what they're commonly called. But this has a very particular use, because it's it's got this URL that you share, and you can pick up on it. And the best thing is, what's the worst thing with whiteboards, glassboards, or whatever you want? You write on it, and then you're like, shit, I've run out of space. I can't do any more. Right?
I just love the way you sell it. What's the one problem with this?
Yeah, what is the one problem with that? You've run out of space. There's only
yes, very true. You run out of space very quickly.
Here's the beautiful thing. So with this device, you can actually take a photo. It takes a photo of what you've drawn. You rub out the whiteboard or glassboard, carry on writing, and then it will just create another PDF sheet of that drawing. You see,
that's very cool.
It's very cool. It's very cool. But I could geek out on this stuff all day. It's just unbelievable. Well, it was a problem for everything and give a solution, probably.
Yeah, precisely. That's what you always do. Yeah. Okay, so recap: we've been through CRMs, my lack of knowledge about CRMs and your extensive knowledge about CRMs. We have been through the Echo Smart Pen type thing, Livescribe thing.
Livescribe, yeah.
Been through your clever whiteboard thing that you'll find a link for.
Yeah.
And what else did we go through? I can't remember what else we went through.
Slack. Sococo.
The Scrum book. eMyth book is good.
Depulse.
Depulse you liked as well, yeah. We use Swydo, SWYDO. And also, just on another point on this, I think that it's always good to go back to a really easy to read book, which is Built to Sell. I think that is a really good. I think it's a great book, and I think it's a great way of thinking about combining that with like Scrum and the eMyth. Those three books together, I think, are really helpful in terms of how to think about your business, not only from a strategic plan point of view, but also from building out it so you can scale and optimize it from there.
Love it.
It's been a long podcast. I hope the listeners are still listening in. I hope the people that are watching are still watching. But I think it's been amazing. It's been very useful.
No, good. Cheers, Tom. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.
See you in the next one, buddy.
Cheers.